John Lennon takes the vocal lead in this rhythm and blues version of Memphis, Tennessee. Number Dream Baby, which seems to be doing very well for Roy Orbison in the American charts, with Paul McCartney on vocal lead. It's the Beatles. The Beatles with John Lennon take the stage once more for their offering of the record, which is doing so much at present for the Marvelettes. Here now as they cry, "Please, Mr. Postman," written by our guest for tonight, entitled Ask Me Why. Our guest being a group by the name of the Beatles. The Beatles who come on stage now with Paul McCartney taking the vocal lead in what must surely be a Spanish classic, Bésame Mucho. Rising very nicely in the charts is Mr. Joe Brown, who is lucky enough to have a picture of you, which is also the cue for the final offering from the Beatles today. And this time it's a feature for George Harrison.
At the moment, the majority of the Beatles fans are in their hometown of Liverpool, and I have a very strong suspicion it won't be long before they're all over the country. Meanwhile, here's a request from Liverpool for the number which started it all for the Beatles, Love Me Do. This is for Miss Elaine McGarity of Mendip Road, Birkenhead, from Mike.
Time now to bring on stage one of the regular Here We Go groups, four young men from Liverpool paying their fourth visit to the show. And this must surely be one of the most dynamic groups in the country today. So stand by now as we bring you the sound of the Beatles. Misery, one of the tracks there from the Beatles' new LP to be released shortly and entitled Please, Please Me. We'll ask the Beatles to stay on stage for another of their own compositions. Do you want to know a secret? We're particularly pleased to have the Beatles with us tonight, as it's always nice to see any of the groups that made their first broadcast on Here We Go hitting the charts in a big, big way. And I think that these boys certainly deserve our warm congratulations, because this time they've returned to us with a #1 hit. And that's what we like to see. But what we like to hear, of course, is Please, Please Me. Please, Please Me. Written, recorded, and placed at #1 by tonight's guests, the Beatles.
How about that? Well, now, you've probably read somewhere recently that John Lennon was being out of the act with a dodgy throat, right, John?
Dodgy, oh, very.
Well, he's back now, as you can hear, and you'll be working with the boys tonight, I guess.
Oh, definitely. I joined them last night, yeah.
Good for you. Now, apart from establishing a sort of fashion in hairstyles, clothes, music, and everything else, you write songs as well, don't you?
Oh, is that what we do?
Well...
yeah, we do write songs.
And haven't you written the new one for Kenny Lynch?
Kenny Lynch, yes. I don't know when it's out, but
it's out now.
Buy it.
Why didn't you keep it for yourself? It's a great number.
Well, you know, he's a friend of ours, Kenny.
Oh.
Well, he's only... we met him on the Helen Shapiro show.
But you sing this number yourselves?
We've done it on our LP.
Out next week?
Yes.
All right, well, let's hear it right now. Misery. I'm beginning to see why nobody can live on the same stage with this outfit. So if Diz Disley, George Melly, or... who is it? Rolf Harris to listen this morning. They've got to introduce these boys at the Albert Hall on April the 18th, and good luck to you, mates. And now let's, from a tremendous stack of requests for Please Please Me this week, who's going to read them?
I'll have a round.
Right, come on then. Let's have this one.
Here we go. First one's for Bar, Jill, Jane, and all the Beatles fans.
All the Beatles fans!
From Zoo and Viv.
Zoo and Viv!
You mind, dear. We can't have that. Let's have another one.
Well, this is for Vivian Simmons and Form 4D of Bexley Grammar School. Yeah, that's it.
That's
Bexley
all.
Grammar School.
And
Kent.
you went to Hanley-Stoke-on-Trent recently, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
This lot were in the audience.
Yeah, this is for Jean and Gwen, and it's for Bud and Stanley.
And now, Please Please Me by belting up and singing Please Please Me.
Yeah.
Jerry, nice to have you with us. Have you been enjoying the show?
Fabulous, thanks, Mike.
Good. Well, now I know you're a great mate of the Beatles, so I wondered if you'd care to introduce their next one for us. They're going to do their new record number.
Oh, very good. Yeah, definitely. Well, this is one which I really think is going to be a hit. Hope so, anyway.
A number one like yours?
Oh, yeah. And, yeah, I just hope it's going to be a hit, and I've nothing more I can say except, how do you do it? If you like it. And I sincerely hope that this one...
Tell them what it's called, then.
No, not yet. Wait.
Oh.
Sincerely hope this one will go from the #1 spot from me to you. Thank you.
John, Paul, George, and Ringo, the Beatles.
When we've all had a trouble and parted, we'll be the same as we started.
Well,
it came in a vision, in a flaming pie. You are Beatles with an A, so it came to pass.
I'll buy that one. Paul, this is your song.
Yes, well, it's a lovely tune. Great favourite of my Auntie Gin's, A Taste of Honey.
does the musical arranging for the group?
Me.
Well, I do.
I do.
Me, really.
Yes, I do.
I see. Well, look, most of the songs that you sing are original compositions. Which of you composes the song?
That's me again.
Ah, yes, I do.
me.
That's what I call togetherness. Well, look, let's get down to brass tacks. The next number, Thank You Girl, you did write yourself, and who had the original idea? I give up. Let's hear it.
Well, actually, they did give me a go on the LP, and between you and me, I think that's the track that's selling it. And it's a number called Boys.
Well, I think we should hear it now, Ringo. Thank you very much.
So do I.